Zombie slash ape apocalypse symbolizes the children of Israel. Let's get it. All right. So let's go ahead and figure out who the children of Israel are. All right. Zephaniah 3:10. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering. All right. So beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, there will be sub-Saharan Africa. Okay. Modern Ethiopia is here. And it's really supposed to be called Abyssinia. Cush equals Nubia. Okay. Nubia is Sudan. So that's where Kush is actually at. Those Ethiopia actually is at, which is Sudan, Nubia area. All right. That's Kush. Then a lot of people are the Kushites. They are the actual Kushites. The people in modern Ethiopia, those are Egyptians. All right. The Kushites are here in Sudan. The Nilotic peoples. Those are the Kushites. Those are the people that were drawn on the walls of Egypt. They were Kushites. All right. They're not Nilotic. All right. So let's go back now. So matter of fact, so look right here. And you see this a Niger Congo man of Africa, of the Bangala tribe. Niger Congos of Africa, they were selling the seeds to indigenous Americans, the Melanesian islanders. Okay. They migrated to the Melanesian islands. They came from Africa. But it came from I'm gonna say they came from a branch of Israelites. Okay. I'm gonna say it like that. Same thing with the Aboriginal Australian. All right. So they were selling, Niger Congos of Africa were selling to their brethren across the seas. All right. The ones in America, they had the same white DNA as the Niger Congos of Africa. But the Melanesian and the Aboriginal Australian, they are also Israelites, but they don't have the E1B1A haplogroup. And this is explained by this right here. Jacob had white DNA CT. All right. Let's read Isaiah 18:1 real quick. Woe to the land shining with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. They sent them ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels of bulrushes upon the water, saying, "Go ye swift messengers to a nation scattered and peeled, to a people terrible from their beginning hitherto. A nation made it out and trod it down, whose land the rivers have spoiled." Okay, as you see, I got it color coded. Niger Congos of Africa, sending ambassadors by the sea to a nation scattered and peeled. They were selling to the indigenous American, as I said, indigenous Melanesian, indigenous Australian. All right, that's what you're selling to. All right, so now let's go ahead and break this down to Jacob white DNA CT. I'm just doing a little summary of it. All right, I'm gonna break it down in detail in another video. All right, Jacob, his 12 sons, and several generations after them had white DNA CT. All right, out of several generations of Israelites having white DNA CT, future descendants started to slowly mutate into the 4 white DNA subclades above. For example, Niger Congos of Africa ancestors went from CT to DE, DE to E, E to E1, E1 to E1B, E1B to E1B1, and finally from E1B1 to E1B1A. Mind you, Niger Congos of Africa did not originate in Africa. There are 2 samples of E1B1A older than the motor samples, which were found in Mesopotamia. And on top of that, the whole DNA dating is off. All right. So these are the 4 haplogroups that descended from Jacob. All right. E1B1A, D1A2B, CB477, and K2B1. These all originate from the Negro. Okay. And it originated from no other people but the Negro. All right. And I'm gonna show you in the next slide that Ham, Shem, and Japheth share white DNA letter trees. Okay. I'm gonna hit you with logic. All right. So now people think when you say white DNA Adam, they think it's the white DNA of Adam. It's not. It's the most recent common ancestor, which would be Noah. All right. So you see right here, in human genetics, the Y chromosomal Adam, more technically known as the Y chromosomal most recent common ancestor, shortened to YMRCA, is the patrilineal most recent common ancestor, MRCA, from whom all currently living humans are descended. He is the most recent male from whom all living humans are descended through an unbroken line of their male ancestors. The term YMRCA reflects the fact that the Y chromosomes of all currently living human males are directly derived from the Y chromosome of this remote ancestor. All right. So, Y-DNA Adam does not equal Adam's Y-DNA. Y-DNA in which all people today descend from, is Noah's Y-DNA. Ancestor Noah's Y-DNA A, not patriarch Adam's Y-DNA. All right. So, Proposed white DNA model of Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Ham, ancestral A like Noah. So when I say ancestral A, I'm talking about Noah's version of white DNA. Okay. Ham did not produce white DNA BT. Noah, his father, did. All right. However, that does not mean Ham couldn't share the same white DNA haplogroup and subclade as his father, Noah. Ham is in white DNA trees, A, B, and CT, even going into DE to E and CF into white DNA J. Remember, the patriarch, Ham, is the youngest, but at the same time, he inherited the same subclade of A as his father, Noah. If the patriarch had white ancestral A like Noah, doesn't that mean his brothers had the same white DNA as him? All right. We can skip over the BT because Ham, Shem, and Japheth, they had A. All right. But you see they went to these letter trees right here. Shem went into E, D, J, N, O, C, K, Q, and K2B1. All right. Shem is the second born of Noah. All right. Japheth was the firstborn. All right. Now Ham is the youngest. So if Ham is the youngest and he got white DNA, why the brothers, why would you say Shem and Japheth don't have white DNA? That's on the patriarchs. Now I'm talking about the patriarch, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Why would they have white DNA all together if they are brothers? Okay. Shem and Japheth, possibly ancestral A like Noah. All right. Branches of Ham also went to BT because Ham is also in white DNAs E, J, and B. So Ham is not only in A, but also in those other three letter trees. All right. If all three of Noah's sons started with white DNA A, which is basically confirmed, that means they share white DNA trees today. All right. You can't say Shem and Japheth started in CT or BT since Ham started in white DNA A. Mutations happen over time. And that most likely means that the patriarchs Ham, Shem, and Japheth all started with white DNA A. The three brothers will all have the same white DNA. White DNAs that Hamites of Africa have today is not the paternal ancestor of white DNA BT, but offshoots of ancestral white DNA A. Okay? I'm saying ancestral white DNA. Remember, I'm saying Noah. I'm saying Noah's white DNA. That's what I mean to say. All right. You can see A comes first, and then BT. After BT comes, BT split into B and CT. All right. So if Ham is in A, right? He did not. Ham's A did not produce BT. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is Ham. He have branches of him that split into A. It's different A subclades. So the ancestor of BT, the ancestor of BT it was carried by Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Okay, so Ham, Shem, and Japheth all share letter trees. You see what I'm saying? So Ham, Shem, and Japheth also went into BT. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So Ham is in A, but he also went into BT because some of his descendants are in BT, and some of his descendants went to B. Okay, and some of his descendants went to CT into DE, into E. All right, you see? And then some of his descendants also split into CF and went into F into J. All right. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is how you can get this now if Ham, Shem, and Japheth share letter trees, right? That means you will find Israelites in same letter tree as other descendants of Noah. Okay, you can find that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Because Ham, at one point in time, Ham had CT. A group of Hamites had CT. At one point in time, the Shemites and Japhethites had CT. You see what I'm saying? It goes on like that, all right? But mostly, Japheth and Shem, they went from A, BT, to CT, okay? And the Israelites that came from Abraham, they went into E. They went into DE to E, all right? But most Shemites went to CT to CF, all right? And to C and F. That's how, see what I'm saying? Ham, Shem, and Japheth share letter tree. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. All right. King Leopold said Nzambi is God. All right. Now this is what he says. We ain't gonna read all this. This is what King Leopold said. And he ain't even no king. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I'm gonna be quiet. They speak and submit to a Mungu, one in Nzambi, one in Zakumba. What else I don't know. All right, this is what he says. So he's saying, let me go right here. Let me see what it says. It's never to teach the niggers to know God. This they know already. This is what he says. Never to teach the niggers to know God. This they know already. All right. They know that to kill, to sleep with someone else's wife, to lie, and to insult is bad. Have courage to admit it. You're not going what? You're not going them what they know already. Your sister role is to facilitate the task of administrators and industrials, which means you will go to interpret the gospel in a way it will be the best to protect or teach your interest in that part of the world. All right. I don't know where I copied this from, but you got typos in it. But right here, the Bantu say Nzambi is the name of the Most High. Nyambi equals Nzambi. All right. That's the Bakongo. All right. The Bakongo say this. They say Nzambi with emphasis. All right. It's a derived from Nyambi. All right. You see the za part that's interchangeable with Yah. All right. As you see right here, Nyambi. The Ikoi and Ijagam of Nigeria / Cameroon, they say Nyambi. All right. Nyame, said by the Akan people of Ghana. Akan is a collection of different tribes. Okay. Ashanti, they say Nyami. Again, they are a branch. The Ashanti are a branch of Akan people. All right. Yahuwah, they say Paleo Hebrew, but nobody really knows the exact way to pronounce Paleo, like to say the words of Paleo Hebrew. Okay, nobody in the world today, but the Niger Congo family, they are they speak an evolved form of Paleo Hebrew. The Niger Congo family. Okay, so I would say we have the older form of Hebrew in Africa. All right. Yah was the sort of name of the father is also used in the Bantu language to address a person or an elder with respect. Example, to call David, who was my elder, I would say Yah David. All right. This is what they say. You see this King Leopold chopping off hands. All right. This is what he did. Chopped off hands. Matter of fact, in Belgium today, they still sell chocolate hands. Okay, this is mockery of what they did to our people in the Congo. All right. You gonna pay for that. Y'all folks gonna pay for that. All right. All right. Zombie apocalypse symbolism equals children of Israel. All right. So in zombie, okay, spirit or deity, okay. Zombie is the name that the Bantu people call the Most High. Okay. They also say Nyambi or Nyambi or Nyame. All right. You see the Yah part in there. The Zah it's interchangeable with Yah. All right. So the most widely accepted theory is that zombie comes from the Kikongo word Nzambi, which is the name for the supreme being or deity. Okay. So if the word zombie comes from the name Nzambi, okay, so you already off rip time the resurrection of the dead to this God Nzambi, who is Yah. Okay, according to my understanding. All right. So now in this game right here, Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, okay, there was a vocal cord parasite of the Kikongo strain. Okay, it was infecting the people on the base in the game, and it created zombies. Okay, now in Mission 16, a trader's caravan. Okay, this is what the soldier says in the dialogue. He says, "You think it's true that anyone who looks under the canvas will be possessed by a zombie?" Okay, and read this too. At the very least, zero risk security had been aware of this, as the truck driver delivering their cargo had been given strict orders to never open the canvas of his truck, nor to let anyone inspect the truck under any circumstances. And it was rumored that doing so would result in a possession by the Kikongo god Nzambi. So in these games, they're making mockery of the children of Israel. Okay. All right. So I should put a picture in too, but the disease in the game, it was a disease plaguing the base. Okay, so you would lose a lot of personnel by this disease. Okay. Now anybody who spoke Kikongo was infected. Okay, they was infected, and then your base would decrease in level, stuff like that. All right, but Kikongo, this was the the cause of the of all that right here. All right, so they're making mockery of our people in their language. Okay, so this guy right here, Skullface, he was targeting the Kikongo strain. Targeting the Kikongo language. Okay, and he created. I mean, well, he didn't create it, but it's a Navajo, supposed to be a Navajo man depicted. It's supposed to be a Navajo man depicted in uh uh depicted in the game. As you see, this is the what do they call it? Wobaka. Something about Wobaka is vocal cord parasite. Um, so let me see the read this right here. In Metal Gear Solid 5, the Kikongo language was a nuisance, and Skullface targeted people and the speakers. Many players of the game had their bases raked by the Kikongo strain. Is this really all a coincidence, or are these people trying to tell us something? Kikongo has been compared to over 1,000 Hebrew words, and the results are outstanding. Shout out to the brother who compared the words. Okay, to me, it sounds like Kikongo has an even deeper hidden secret. But what could it be? Excuse me. All right. Now, the word zombies is tied to voodoo, Haitian voodoo. All right, it was tied to the day, but go back to the root of it. Zombie. The word zombie is tied to the name Nzambi. Okay. For example, right here, it was a Brazilian warrior named Zombie. Okay, Ganga Zombie, Zamba. Okay, Ganga Zombie, Ganga and Zombie, and Ganga and Zombie. All right, see right here, Ganga Zumba. All right. Uh, his name basically meant spiritual healer of Nzambi or priest of Nzambi, something like that. All right, priest of the high creator God. All right. And Ganga means spiritual healer. Okay, basically he was a priest. All right. He was you call it. We call him a freedom fighter. Yeah, you call him a freedom fighter. Yeah, that's the Brazilian War right there. All right. See right here, the Lord killeth and maketh alive. Okay, there's only one guy that does this, the Most High. He the one that he can raise from the dead and bring down to the grave. He does that. He killeth and maketh alive. That's the Most High that does it. All right. So Deuteronomy 32 and 39 says, see now that even I am he, there's no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that could deliver out of my hand. I lift my hand to heaven and say I live forever. The Most High. Okay. 1 Samuel 2 and 6, the Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. All right. So the Most High, he the one who raises from the grave. Okay. Most High does it. So when you remember when what's his name? Saul went to the witch to raise up the dead. The Most High did that. The Most High raised up Samuel from the grave. Okay, he killeth and maketh alive. All right, the Most High will raise up the dead after Jacob's trouble. All right, is Jacob's trouble right here? So like as Isaiah 26 and 17, like as a woman with child that you draw near the time of her delivery is in pain and cry out in her pains. So have we been in the sight of the Lord, in our sight, O Lord. All right, so we have, it said, verse 18 said, we have been with child, we have been in pain, we have, as it were, brought forth wind, we have not wrought any deliverance in the earth, neither have the inhabitants of the world fallen. All right. So Isaiah 26, man, Isaiah himself, he was talking about the fall of the inhabitants of the world, talking the heathen. Okay. He's saying he's talking the fall of the heathen. He was talking about Israelite supremacy. See right here, that's what Isaiah was talking about. He's talking about Israelite supremacy. All right. Now look, it says, thy dead man shall live, together with my dead body shall they arise. Awake and sing, ye that dwell in the dust. What I do is as the dew of herbs, and the earth shall cast out the dead. All right. Verse 21. For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. Okay. Now the raising of the dead happens after Jacob's trouble. Okay, on the last day, the third day. Okay, right here, you see right here, Hosea 6, verse 2. After 2 days will he revive us, and the third day he will raise us up, and we shall live in his sight. All right. You know what I'm saying? On the third day, he's gonna raise us up, and we shall. And so Hosea saying that he and the people he was talking to was gonna live in the sight of the Lord on the third day. Okay, so that's 3,000 years after Hosea wrote this prophecy. Okay, and Hosea wrote the prophecy between 760 to 720. We don't know the exact date. We're gonna say 740, and that'll be 2,000. If you go from 740 BCE to 3,000 years later, that'll be 2,260. CE, Common Era, all right, modern times, all right, when we in 2025, okay, so we're very close, all right, to the third day. The dry bones equals the resurrection on the last day. Ezekiel 37 and 5. Let me read all this, matter of fact. Ezekiel 37 and 1. The hand of the Lord was upon me, and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord God, thou knowest. Again he said unto me, prophesy unto these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus said the Lord God unto these bones, behold, I will cause the breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I will lay sinews upon you, and bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live. Amen. And ye shall know that I am the Lord. All right. Read Ezekiel 37:11. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say our bones are dry, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, Thus said the Lord God, behold, O my people, I will open your graves, and cause you to come up out of your graves, and bring you into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am the Lord, when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves, and shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live. And I will place you in your own land, and then shall you know that I the Lord, has spoken it and performed it, said the Lord. Okay? This is tied to actual resurrection, not no something spiritual like he awakened the dry bones. They try to say he awakened the dry bones. They meaning that he waking the Israelites back up to knowing who they are. No, it's not what it's talking about. It's talking about actual raising up of the dead. The actual raising up of the dead. That's what it's talking about. All right, it's literal. All right. Now Hannah, right? Hannah, she prophesied of King David, and she said there's only one God. She said it. This Hannah. 1 Samuel 2:1. And Hannah prayed and said, My heart rejoiceth in the Lord. My horn is exalted in the Lord. My mouth is enlarged over my enemies, because I rejoice in thy salvation. There is none holy as the Lord, but there is none beside thee. Neither is there any rock like our God. All right. So 1 Samuel 2:6. Matter of fact, we're gonna skip over there. 1 Samuel 2:9. All right. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall be thunder upon them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his king, and exalt the horn of his anointed. Okay? So, guess what? Hannah prophesied of King David. That's what she just did. So, the king, we just find out the king, you go to Ezekiel 37, Ezekiel 34, the king is David. So, Hannah prophesied of King David. Right here. 1 Samuel 2:10. And he said no Jesus. And he said none of that. If you know who the king is David. If you go to Ezekiel 34 and Ezekiel 37, that's who the king is. All right? Hannah prophesied of King David. She said there's only one God, which is the Most High. So where does Jesus come in at? Like, you know what I'm saying? Where does he come in at? All right? We're going to read right here. David himself said who the king is. Psalms 2, let's get out of verse 6. Yeah, have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion? I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee. All right. So he's saying the Most High set his king upon the holy hill of Zion. And he says, David said, I will declare the decree. David said, he would declare the decree. So David saying the Most High said unto him that he was the son of the Most High. That was the Most High told him. He said, you are my son. So that is, David is the one. You see what I'm saying? That's what it says right here. Verse 8. Ask me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. That's how I break them with the rod of iron. That's how I dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. So the Most High telling David, he's going to break the nations. He's going to break the heathen. All right? Look, be wise and therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him. All right? Zombie King David, okay? Resurrected King David. All right? 1 Samuel 2 and 10. All right? Yahweh will shatter his adversaries against them. He will thunder in the heavens. Yahweh will judge the ends of the earth. He will give strength unto his king and exalt the horn of his anointed. All right? Mockery, his king. At that time, Hannah's prayer, Israel had no king yet, okay? This prophecy is of the king to come, okay? So when Hannah made his prayer, she was in the time of the judges, okay? Israel had no king. Saul, even King Saul wasn't even anointed king yet, okay? So the prophecy is about David. However you want to put it. It wasn't about Saul. It had been about David, all right? Mishiko is anointed, all right? From the root, Mashak, to anoint, means his anointed one, Messiah, all right? David was the first king chosen and anointed by Yahweh. 1 Samuel 16:13. Kieran, horn, symbol of power, strength, rule. Exalt the horn of his anointed. Lift up the reign and power of David. Now you can read the Psalms. And Psalms say he's going to exalt the horn of David. All right, so it's David is the one. All right. Let's see. Psalms 2, we read it already. We did this. Okay. Why this must be David? Spoken before Israel had a king. Prophecy of the king of the coming kingdom. His king and his anointing can only point to David, the first Yah anointed king. This lines up with later prophecies where David is called my servant, my king, my anointed. Ezekiel 37, 24-25. Psalms 89, verse 20. Answer: yes, in the Hebrew of 1 Samuel 2 and 10, the terms Mako, his king, and Mishiko, his anointed, clearly point to King David. This was a prophecy from Hannah, long before Israel had a king, showing Yahweh will raise up David as his chosen, anointed ruler. All right? Okay. So, watch this right here. Jeremiah 30, and let's go to verse 6. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail? All faces are turned into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Verse 8. For it shall come to pass in that day, said the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and I will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. But they shall serve the Lord their God, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Okay? So now attention now. David is mentioned with this Jacob's trouble. Okay? King David is mentioned with this Jacob's trouble. So let's go to Michael 5 real quick. All right? Michael 5, let's go to Michael 5 and 3. Okay? Therefore will he give them up until the time that she which travaileth have brought forth. Then the remnant of his people, the remnant of his brethren, shall return unto the children of Israel. All right? So, you see right here, I got it in purple. I got it color-coded for you. This is Jacob's trouble. Okay? So, hold on now. So, therefore will he give them up until the time that she which travaileth have brought forth. So, David, he got to come before Jacob's trouble. Okay, he coming before Jacob's trouble. But he's gonna be on the earth during Jacob's trouble. All right, let's look at this right here. Michael 5 and 1. Let's see what it says. I gather ourselves in troops, O daughter of troops. He have laid siege against us, talking about the enemy. They shall smite the judge Israel with the rod upon the cheek. Okay, now pay attention to that, because you can go back to Zechariah 13. You see the same thing. The judge, she's gonna get smite on the cheek. It's talking about David get smite on the cheek. Thou Bethlehem Ephrathah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me that is to be ruler in Israel, whose going forth have been from old, from everlasting. David. Okay? Look, so daughter of truth is Israel. Judge of Israel equals King David. All right? Until the time that she which travaileth her brought forth, after the 2/3 is cut off. So you go to Zechariah 13, you see the 2/3 getting cut off after the judge gets smite. So after David gets smitten, 2/3 gonna get cut off of Israel worldwide. And then you go to Zechariah 9. That's when Zechariah 9 happens. All right. Now look at this right here. This proof right here that David is the one. Michael 5:4. He shall stand and feed in the strength of the Lord, in the majesty of the name of the Lord his God, and he shall abide. For now shall he be great unto the ends of the earth. Okay, now shall he be great to the ends of the earth. He's gonna stand and feed the flock. Okay, whoever this is gonna stand and feed the flock. We just found out it's David. Look at this right here. This gonna confirm it's David. Ezekiel 34, verse 22. Let's read. Therefore will I save my flock, and they shall no more be a prey, and I will judge between cattle and cattle. And I will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them. Even my servant David, he shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd. I, the Lord, will be their God, and my servant David, a prince among them. I, the Lord, have spoken it. All right? So David is going to feed the flock. He's the shepherd. He's feeding the flock. So it got to be David. Okay? Michael 5 is talking about David. See what I'm saying? Now, matter of fact, look at this right here. Ezekiel 34:25. I will make with them a covenant of peace, and will cause the evil beasts to cease out of the land, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods. So look at this, right? David is mentioned as the shepherd feeding the flock. He also mentioned as the prince. Okay? He also mentioned as the king. In Ezekiel 37, he mentions the king too. So David's the prince, king, and shepherd. And then he also, you know what else? The new covenant is mentioned alongside him as well. When King David comes. The new covenant is coming when King David comes. And when Jacob's trouble happens, it's at the end of days. Remember, go back to my 70th week prophecy breakdown. All right? See what I'm saying? All this stuff connect. David is the one. All right? Now look at this right here. I didn't highlight it, but let's go to Psalm 71. Let's see. Let's go to verse. Let me see right here. Oh, right here, verse 20. Thou which hast showed me great and sore trouble shall quicken me again, and shall bring me up from the depths of the earth. This is David. David talking. So David know about Jacob's trouble. He's seen Jacob's trouble. He's seen Jacob's trouble. And he said the Most High gonna bring him out of the earth. Okay. You see what I'm saying? David talked about him he talked about him returning in the last days. You see what I'm saying? This David, he wrote this in Psalm 71. It's right here. All right. So now this is War for Planet of the Apes. Okay, this is the movie War for Planet of the Apes. It's a tunnel scene. Look what it says: Ape Apocalypse. Ape Apocalypse. All right. Zombie Apocalypse equals Ape Apocalypse. Who are these movies symbolizing as apes and zombies? Let's not play games here. It's clearly obvious. The Negro is the target of this mockery. Ape should not kill ape. It's a mockery of the commandment that the Most High gave us upon Mount Sinai, which was thou shalt not kill. All right. Ape Apocalypse. You see this right here. Then you got these apes with the word donkey on their back, because they following after the enemy. All right. See what I'm saying? It's gonna be you're gonna have a lot of niggas that's gonna be doing this type of stuff right here. They're gonna be helping the enemy attack us. All right. So you already know that. So these movies, they symbolizing the end times. Okay, that's what they symbolize. All right, we ain't really gonna go too deep on this. We're gonna get into it. So there's a company named Genesis in the movie Rise of the Planet of the Apes. All right, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It is the first of the trilogy. Well, it's not even a trilogy no more, but it's the first of that franchise. All right. the company named Genesis, right? So it was, Genesis is the company that was experimenting on the apes. They were experimenting on the apes. They were trying to figure out a way to cure Alzheimer's for the so-called humans. All right. So all of this is symbolism. All right. The whole thing is the Genesis is supposed to represent the Tanakh. All right. So the apes wake up with Genesis. Okay, they wake up with Genesis, with reading Genesis, the books. Okay. All right. Now in the scene, dialogue between Robert, I think Robert and Will Rodman. All right. Both of these people right here. All right. Basically, it says right here, Jacobs made me put down the other 12. Dialogue scene. Jacobs made me put down the other 12. As you can see, Jacobs, right? They took this man's name right here. He supposed to represent Esau, but they have Jacobs and they have about the 12. All right, so it's symbolism, right? A little bit about the virus. I mean, not the virus, but the drug that help the apes get smart, right? Let's say ALZ 112, right? The so-called cure for Alzheimer's disease. Like Robert Franklin, Will was one of the rare employees at Genesis Laboratories who actually did care for ape test subjects, such as bright eyes, and did not simply see them as experiments. Right? Skip down. Will was explaining the effects of ALZ-112 on bright eyes to Jacobs and the board members of the lab company, specifically on her eyes. Bright eyes was shot by a security guard, despite Will trying to stop him from shooting her. Franklin decided to give Bright Eyes offspring to Will. Will did not want to look after the young chimpanzee, but had no choice. All right. Robert Franklin was an employee at Genesis Laboratories who worked as an ape handler under Will Rodman, who developed ALZ-112, a revolutionary trial drug that could potentially cure Alzheimer's disease. After the 112 project was shut down due to one of the chimp test subjects, Bright Eyes, going berserk. All right. Stephen Jacobs was the head of the biotech company Genesis Laboratories and the former supervisor of Will Rodman, a scientist employed at Genesis who created the simian flu. All right. We're going to get to that in a second. But there's a virus called simian flu that destroyed the so-called human population. All right. Let's read this first. Caesar in Planet of the Apes represents King David and his characteristics of Moses, and of course, Jesus Christ, who was supposed to be a replacement of King David. Caesar broke a stick in two and broke it up into even more pieces, but kept the sticks together to show that the apes together are strong. Caesar grew up in a stranger's house or land, so from this I assume that they think King David will be in America when he is resurrected. King David used Genesis, the book, and spread the gas, the word/knowledge to the apes in prison captivity, all right, to awaken them. That is what the ALZ-112 and ALZ-113 represented, all right? So, the ALZ-113, it could possibly mean talking about the 13th tribe. It could possibly mean that. I don't know, all right? We're talking about the fake Jews, all right? It could be that. See right here, Caesar got the sticks, broken in multiple pieces. He said apes together are strong. It is him grabbing the canister of the ALZ-113, I believe. And he's spreading the ALZ-113 gas. He infecting himself and infecting the apes in captivity. All right. This is the movie right here, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. All right. You see, he got him throwing the black power fist up. Got all of them throwing the black power fist up. You see what I'm saying? See, these folks be trying to be funny. Oh, this is how you know. This is how you know they talking about it. Look at this right here. So there's a cartoon called Black Dynamite, right? Now in the Reparations episode, y'all can go watch it. Matter of fact, I might put it. I might put it in this video. I don't know. Think about it. But in the Reparations episode, they was capturing white people as slaves. The blacks were capturing white people as slaves. She said, "Get your hands off me, you damn dirty ape." Now, in the Rise of the Planet Apes, the same thing happened. Right? Caesar grabbed the man's hand from trying to beat him with the whatever this was, and this man said, "Get your hands off me, you damn dirty ape." right? So this is symbolism, okay? It's blatant, all right? It's right there in our face, all right? So you see what I'm saying? These movies and stuff, they connect, films or send them all that stuff connect, man. Let's see right here. Dodge Landon was the son of John Landon, owner of the San Bruno primary shelter, where Caesar was held following his attack on Douglas Hunsaker. All right. He worked there as a guard under his father, but administered horrible treatment and cruelty to the primates there, bordering on torture for no apparent reason. This eventually became the death of him. All right. After Caesar breaks out of the San Bruno primate shelter with his people, they head straight to Genesis Laboratories to free the apes that were imprisoned there and increase their numbers. Right? And you see they're about to jump on Jacob. Jacob, he got out of there. I mean, what's his name? Yeah, Stephen Jacobs. They jumped on Stephen Jacobs. He represent Esau. The apes were about to jump on him, and he got up out of there. All right, Genesis Laboratories right here. All right. Now, Koba is another ape. Koba wrote Jacobs on the board. Now he wrote Stephen Jacobs right here. He wrote Stephen Jacobs' name on the board. Koba in Bantu language is a shortened form of saying Yakoba. Yakoba is another way of saying Jacob. Okay, but Koba, it means many. Okay, in Congo it means many. So Koba wrote Jacobs. You translate it as Jacobs many or many Jacobs, many monkeys. Okay, that's what they trying to. It's the symbolism. That's what they. I mean, that's what they trying to tell us. They're trying to call us monkeys. They're many monkeys. All right, many Jacobs. They're calling them Jacob monkeys. Okay. All right. We're gonna read all this. Let's see right here. Jacobs was skeptical of the project's practicality and took an instant dislike of Koba, the bonobo selected for the trial. Almost experiments were a financial disaster for Jacobs, who furiously fired the neuroscientist and afterwards confronted Koba, deriding him as stupid, ugly monkey, and telling him that for the choice his, he will put him down himself. All right. When a shipment of new apes arrived, Jacobs recognized Koba among them. He sadistically taunted the bonobo, calling him the ugliest ape in the world, and telling him that there would be no more hand talking nonsense, and that no matter how human he thought he was an unintelligent animal. This promoted Koba to vow revenge on Jacobs, whom he saw as representing the worst of humanity. Koba was chosen by Will and Franklin to be the first test subject for the ALZ-113 virus. Jacobs came to personally observe the experiment, claiming he wanted to watch Will's progress, but in actuality wanted to watch Koba get experimented on. This proved to be a mistake, as Koba used the opportunity to try and attack Jacobs, and although he failed to reach his tormentor, the surprise attack exposed Franklin to the virus. Later, after Koba wrote Jacobs' name on a writing computer screen, Jacobs ordered further testing of ALZ-113 virus despite Will's warnings, caring only for the profits to be made on the success of the virus. All right. Jacob was charismatic, egomaniacal CEO of Polytechnic Solutions of Genesis Laboratories, whose plans to put ALZ-113 drugs on the market ended up causing the simian flu outbreak. Okay. All right. This consequently extended to the point where Jacobs was not only responsible for the trajectory of humanity's downfall, but also the subsequent animosity between apes and mankind, especially Koba's hatred for humans. All right. Now, in Lion King, Simba represented Jacob. Okay, Esau was represented by Scar. Okay. Remember Jacob said, okay, Simba. He said, "Brother, save me," when he was hanging off the cliff. "Brother, save me." Esau threw Simba, not Simba, Mufasa, man. Mufasa represented Jacob. Threw Mufasa off the cliff. So Esau threw Mufasa off the cliff. Now look, in Planet of the Apes, Koba, he kicked off Esau off the cliff, but he kicked off Stephen Jacobs off the cliff. Stephen Jacobs told Koba to save him. All right, to help him. But Cobra kicked him off a cliff. You know what I'm saying? Symbolism. All right. Now there's a virus, the simian. They call it the simian flu. Right? Simian flu. Simian flu spread all over the world. The so-called humans, all right, they got dumber. Okay, they got weaker. They got weaker and they got dumber. All right. They start losing their speech and all of that. All right. They became retarded. All right. Now, for the apes, it was making the apes smarter. Okay. So to me, it sounds like they're talking about the spreading of this word, of this knowledge of this Bible. That's what it sounds like to me. All right. That's what it sounds like to me. They could also be talking about an actual virus. That's gonna come in the future. I don't know. I don't think no virus is gonna make white people all these different other nations dumb or something like that. Nah, nothing like that gonna happen. But I'm just saying, so it got to be talking about. It definitely got to be talking about the way I was saying it first. It has to be talking about that way. All right. ALZ-113 allows the brains of apes to replicate its own cells and to prepare itself at which in turn grants them heightened intelligence and can be inherited by the offspring of infected apes. The only physical notable symptom is that the adoption of a green tint in infected apes' irises. Humans, however, the 113 is lethal as their immune system is weaker than the ape's immune system. All right. Both Malachi Yeomans and Natalia Kosar noted similarities between this way simian flu affected humans and Ebola, as both are highly contagious and have hemorrhagic fever as a primary symptom. All right, an infected human displays constant nosebleeds before bleeding out of the eyes, ears, and mouth before the death. Right. All right. As mentioned by Ellie, a survivor of the simian flu, humans that were not killed by the virus were genetically immune to the flu, or else they would have died long ago, so there would be no danger of the pandemic returning to kill them. And Wolf Planet Apes, Colonel McCullough mentions that every human survivor still carries the virus. All right. The simian flu is comparable to the space virus from Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, where every household dog and cat were wiped out, leading to the human desire for pets, which led to them taking apes as pets, then as slaves before mankind was all but wiped out by an ape revolution. All right. So Negroes in Americas, this is why I say Negroes in Americas, particularly the United States, caused the virus to spread. Okay, Israelite awakening. Okay, not just Congo awakening. What they are telling us through the Planet of Apes trilogy is that they think that King David will have to overcome them through many battles. All right. So Caesar represents King David. All right. As I said before. All right, this is what ChatGPT says. All right, we're gonna read all this. We're just gonna get a little. This is what it says though. Genesis. All right. We're gonna reread this right here. This drug awakens the apes, giving them knowledge and understanding. Symbolically, that parallels how Torah, Genesis awakens Israel, making the CT Israelite family conscious of who they are. All right. He is Caesar. These apes after gaining his awakening, representing the anointed king who rises from the midst of captivity. He is feared, hunted, and challenged. He is to become the leader. All right. Captivity pattern. Caesar, though leader, ends up in captivity and must break free. That fits what we've studied. David will be spending and fleeing in the middle of the 70th week, essentially in a state of captivity, before his return in glory. Cobra and the hidden Jacob's message. The ape named Cobra writes Jacobs on the board. You notice in Bantu language, Cobra can mean many Jacobs, hidden meaning, many Jacobs, or many monkeys. This is almost two on the nose. It reflects the idea that many tribes of Jacob scatter yet destined to awaken and rise again. Okay. Caesar equals David, chosen leader spending, but destined to rule. All right. Conclusion. Yes, Rise of the Planet Apes is loaded with hidden biblical archetypes. The awakening through Genesis mirrors the Israelites waking up through Torah. Caesar mirrors David. His captivity mirrors David's smiting in the prophecy, Cobalt Jacob's writing in codes, the scattered children of Israel, the many Jacobs destined to be gathered. All right, it's not a coincidence. It's as if Hollywood, knowingly or unknowingly, is acting out Israel's story in disguise. All right. And then it says about the apocalypse thing on the wall. All right. In the source, graffiti reads Ape Apocalypse. This is not random. It's symbolic of the Israelite apocalypse, the moment of Yahweh's intervention and resurrection. All right. I don't know what to say about. I don't know what to talking about resurrection. Yah ain't got to resurrect. I mean, he ain't got to rise from the dead because he's alive. I don't know what you're talking about right there. In African traditions, especially Bantu, the name Nzambi or Nyambi, refers to the creator god. From Nzambi's name comes the corrupted European word zombie. Originally, Nzambi equals Yah, all right? Creator who has power over life and death, all right? Zombies, the resurrected dead, not horror monsters, but twisted Western retelling of the idea that Nzambi can raise the dead, all right? See right here. Oh, so the general, right? He was fighting against another army, all right? And in the middle, the Apes was caught in the middle, okay? So it's representing the Israelites being caught in the middle of a war between two different groups, all right? All right, they was attacking each other and they attacking the Apes in the middle of them, all right? So it's like they were surrounding Jerusalem, okay? That would have represented, all right? Yeah. All right, so key points. Key points about ape/zombie apocalypse. Both the ape apocalypse and zombie apocalypse in movies depict the end of the world. Okay, so we know that. Zombies and zombie apocalypse films are resurrected by some supernatural force or virus. Apes and Planet of the Apes series clearly depicts Yah's chosen people. The heathen have always made mockery of our phenotype and even made up some false evolution theory where man came from monkey and that says dinosaurs turned into chickens. You can't talk about a zombie without it leading back to Nzambi. The word itself is rooted in the name Nzambi, so Nzambi raises the dead. They have always called the Negro cannibals and savages, all right? Zombie and apes taking over the world is a mockery of the children of Israel taking over the earth in the near future. In zombie apocalypse films and the Planet of the Apes films, a virus is spread around. Isn't that strange? All right? All right, so, you know what I'm saying? This definitely is mockery of the children of Israel, the ape/zombie apocalypse, all right? All right, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.